Is he in the vehicle?
Yeah. I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address. And now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. They're fighting in there.
Is inside the house now?
Yeah,
You have your doors locked?
it's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
I was just supposed to say good morning, everybody, but we know in the UK. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Is that better? Because you're 12 o'clock, so you're afternoon now. I'm 9 o'clock a.m. and obviously UK is 8 hours difference.
Right. Hey, everyone. Hey, Sonny. I think you know someone from Nuneaton.
Oh, hi, D. Edwards. That's where my husband's from, is from Nuneaton. Yeah. My husband. Yep, he's from Nuneaton. And we met on RuneScape, an online game. And actually, July 11th coming up. Well, we had to get by all the birthdays first because his brother's was on June 12th. My husband's was on June 22nd. Mine's July 3rd. And then our anniversary is July 11th. And then Adam's there is July 13th. So my husband, myself, and Adam, we're all the Cancer, the crabs. Anyways, but yes, so my husband, though, Dee, and tell me if you agree with this. My husband says that Nuneaton is pretty much the bleep hole of England.
No.
No. I mean, for me, I went there for Christmas like about 4 years ago. Well, just over 4 years now. And the one thing you do start feeling it versus Canada versus the UK and is you totally feel, my husband always would say to me, you can breathe here, meaning in Canada. You can just breathe because when you see our land, there's just so much space. I mean, it's just open. When you're there, after a while, you start feeling like these buildings are just like right there. Like when you're driving, it's like the buildings are sitting on top of the sidewalks right near the street. And you start feeling a little bit claustrophobic within that. It's almost like being in a wall of brick homes, you know.
You know, it's funny, Sonny, that you mentioned breathing because, you know, for anyone that is watching from the United States, for a lot of the United States right now, we can't breathe, and it's because of Canada.
Right. There's a lot of fires going on right now. So prayers to all the people, and sorry to the US for all the suffering from the smoke and the burning smell and all that's coming through. See, so that's just the problem here is that we have that many trees that, like, honestly, there's so much forestry here, right?
Here comes the maple syrup shortage.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyways, you guys. Hi, Carol. How are you? how did we determine this name was? Persephone? 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 I think it was Persephone?
Persephone.
Persephone. Persephone. Now I have to think of like symphony or something to get that. Hi, D. Edwards. Hi, DMV. Oh, still, I noticed that it's not like Triple X videos like we talked about.
Right.
Hi, Lynn. How are you? And D. Edwards. Yesterday, my intent was to do a live with Nicola Bully. It was a crazy day yesterday. I was trying to finish off my video, and then all of a sudden, we heard that the Delphi docs are pop up, that they're coming out. Delphi is a huge case in the United States, in the true crime community as well. It's along the lines of the Nicola Bully, for the mass amount of people that follow it and have cared. And, finally, 6 years later with Delphi, Richard Allen was arrested, in connection with the homicides of Abby and Libby. And so the 118 files dropped yesterday. So
it was like 283 pages or something like that.
Yeah. And, so we just came off of the Drunk Turkey show. Again, great group of boys, Jaime, Daniel, Big Blue. We just came off of there. We were just talking about the Delphi documents there. They follow a lot of the similar cases that we do. Anyways, check them out if you've never heard of them before. Great group of guys.
They also cover the Idaho case quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they cover other cases, but they're focused a lot on the Idaho case right now. And so,
Yeah.
if you're interested in the Idaho case, other than us, of course, check them out.
Yeah. And Daniel, I think for about 5 years, he was a police officer. So he kind of has the experience as well. It's always nice when you have that type of experience,
Right.
getting, the different expertise. We're not going to talk about the Lancashire. Well, yes, we will probably Lancashire police on there. So true. And New Brunswick, Canada here. Right. Exactly. So like I said, so basically we came off the Drunk Turkey show, and I'm like saying to Adam, like, well, what you doing? Because, I like to do a live on it, because like many, I feel like the family, it was the perfect answer for them, like just to have that it was an accident. It's better than the ulterior ones. Okay. So for the family, again, for their own, however they want to think about it in their head or whatever, an accident is a good answer for them. I know a lot of us felt deflated, probably still feel deflated by it all, because they really didn't answer a lot of questions. They really just, they never gave anything. I mean, I think it goes with the whole case of Nicola Bully. Yeah. Hi, Helen. I think it goes with the whole case of Nicola Bully, that from the start to the end, it was just Lancashire police, like I said, failed Nicola Bully miserably. And I think that the inquest failed Nicola Bully as well in certain ways, for sure. I feel like it was just, what is the best synopsis of solution, in a sense that we can equate to what happened, because we don't have any answers. So we're just going to go by the, probability and say that this is what happened, and I think that's really what came of that. But they really didn't answer a lot of different things. And so in my video yesterday, it's one of those things like 10 seconds, really? Like, I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy 25 seconds. I was searching out this -4 degrees, and yes, I get it. Cold shock. I was watching the Tipton video that I wanted to put in that video, but I had to take it out because it gave me a copyright, because there was a little bit of music in there at the start. So I was just like, yeah, no. So I had to go re-upload it and stuff like that. And hence I actually did that video like 2 days ago when I started it, but had to, like I said, because of Delphi yesterday, got sidetracked and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so I think to me, I call it a copy and paste answer. Here's what the probability is. Let's just equate that. But they didn't really answer any questions. And I know from the video that I put out, a lot of your guys' comments, you know, feel sad, frustrated, don't feel like Nicola Bully got her justice, you know. I honestly, like, I don't know how long we'll be talking about this case, like, meaning it's one of those things is that when you kind of get an answer, like, a conclusion in a sense, I mean, I still want a bit of time because I still have some things that I would like to do with Nicola Bully's case. On one being, of course, the rock thing that you got people signed, and I still have to finish up with that and make a video. Knowing that people aren't happy. I'm not happy. I don't still know what to think about it all. Like, basically when the Nicola Bully time is time to go, hey, you know what, need to move on, then it's just time. But I'm not going to say that that's going to be today or tomorrow yet, because there's still some things that I would like to do and talk about. And I know that for you guys, I'm sure that you guys need your space. You can't just forget about something. You don't just forget about it, type of thing. So if somebody just wants to, not at the moment, whatever their channel does or whatever it wants to do. But I just, I don't buy in to what they're, pushing in a sense. And where did this freaking black person or this, not, I was going to see, I was almost tempted, but yeah, this
the guy in
person
black.
dressed in black, like, where that just pops out of nowhere. But yet, Adam, there's a really good video, and I'll probably play it, okay, that GBN News did, with, I think his name is Mark Thomas Williams, I believe. And it really said a lot of the things, like, why didn't they snuff that out in the inquest? If they had talked to this person, considering there was a man in black that January 7th, considering that not too far away from, obviously St. Michael's on the Wyre, within like less than an hour, is a guy of a man in black that literally was attacking this female near a canal. So all of a sudden, everyone's going, wait, what? Men in black? What? But why didn't they snuff it out?
Wait, attacking a female? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this other like news that happened January 7th, and there's this man dressed in black.
Oh, okay. So, I missed the January 7th part.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see here.
Well, and if a witness saw a man in black, I know we'll get into it, but I mean, if a witness saw a man in black, I mean, presumably you would think that if he's not involved in anything, they would have his whereabouts coming and going to the dog park on CCTV footage, the same as they would anyone else, right?
Right. I mean, that was a shocker, right, guys? I mean, all of a sudden this man in black gets brought up, and you're just like,
for anyone that's ever followed the Delphi case, we for years have also heard about this mysterious man in black, which I think there's probably nothing to, but I'm like, if I never have to hear about a man in black ever again, it'll be too soon.
Well, I'm just gonna hear. Well, I'll bring up this is the video I dropped yesterday, and I'll play certain tidbits. But one of this thing that was kind of funny was when they were giving Nicola Bully's, like, at the end, when there's the corners, that lady, the resting bee face lady, and they were doing that after the Nicola Bully inquest conference thing outside, and then right as they're talking, the train goes by. It's like, I'm sorry, what BS are you saying? Can't hear you. Sorry, train going by. I couldn't help but go, Nikki, even you're not satisfied. But then Ashley from The Reckoning saw this on the paper, and it said, you know how Paul says, "Are you lost?" in the text to Nikki? And actually, in my head, I'm kind of thinking she's probably texting back, no, I am dead. Um, but, anyways, uh, so Nicola Bully's partner sobs as he says he sent mom 4-word text. And then Ashley's like, are you missing a word like I am there? Because it's like literally 3 words. Are you lost? And so it's just kind of mistakes like that, that you're just like, hmm, just kind of come across it. And I always just kind of feel a little bit like Nikki's going, yeah, that's not exactly what happened, but I'm going to play this. Oh, you haven't missed anything, Claire. We really just started. But um, this is what happens, Helen, right? It's like the build up until, right, then the time, and then you go through the inquest, and then all of a sudden it just feels like you're just like, okay, Paul. Let me just talk about Paul for 1 second on this one. How do you sit there and how do you tell people that she's struggling, and then you're walking around saying she was full of beans, right? That like she was happy, everything was going great. So why at all would you say she was struggling, right? You're literally have contradicted yourselves. The parents too, right? If she's struggling, that means they literally just, you know, we're gonna kind of make Nicola look great, and yeah, she was just this and that. Oh, but hey, let's let out some vulnerabilities about her, and she is struggling. So he told Anne-Marie Fletcher that she was struggling. So obviously you would think, um, have to know each other somewhat to offer up that information. And then Anne Marie tells the other person that Paul said Nikki's struggling, you know. So I'm pretty sure that doesn't sound like full of beans. So that's what I mean. Like that really bugged me. That whole she was struggling thing when I saw it. Because you guys are all just making her believe that she was just happy and all this happened. I believe Nicola was struggling myself. I believe she was struggling, whether it was relationship issues or whatever. I think she was struggling, and I just think that people try to portray, something a little bit different. But he literally contradicted himself. Um, why would you text? Are you lost? Did you get lost? Right. No, exactly, and that's exactly what it was. Right. It's kind of like she's not home yet, and he's like, "Are you lost?" Right? So right, it had definitely had uh, sarcasm to it in a sense. I if my husband said that to me, I would take it as a joke, right? Like, are you lost? Like, why aren't you home yet? And that's really what that meant to me. Extra, read all about it. Hi, Yorkie. How are you? And Yorkie, how do you feel? How do you feel about the whole inquest? And how are you feeling right now? Because I know a lot of us are just kind of like, oh, okay. Well, like, you know, it's not like we can change the outcome of the inquest. We can still have our thoughts about what we think. Um, I can't keep up with all the news. I can't fit it all into my day. I get it. I can fit it into my day mostly. I believe she was struggling. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nicola gets her justice in the future. You know, it's one of those things, right? So, unless something else opens up the case, um, weird he never showed an ounce of emotion when she went missing. You know, oh, that's quite the name, Tula Ruby Monroe. Um, are you a bit behind the case? Well, um, you know what? Let me play this clip from my video.
Yeah.
Let me just find it, and uh, I'll make it. Okay, that's the blurp, 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 blurp. Okay, right. Just basically start it right here. Okay, make it bigger.
This follows yesterday's revelation that Nicola had not been drinking when she drowned in the River Wyre. And earlier, her partner Paul Ansell told the inquest that she was, quote, full of beans on the night before her death.
Is that the start
It
of
was
it?
back in February that the disappearance gripped the nation, and today her bereaved family accepted the coroner's ruling and paid tribute to the person they knew as Nikki.
Oops.
The last few months have been extremely tough to process for our family. The emotional impact will stay long in our hearts, and whilst we'll never forget the loss of our Nikki.
I'm joined now by investigative journalist and former police officer Mark Williams-Thomas, who was in attendance at the inquest. So, Mark, with your expertise, did you agree with the verdict given by the coroner today? And are there questions for the police to answer in their handling of Nicola Bully's disappearance?
Good evening, Dan. Yes, I mean, I do agree with the coroner's verdict. The coroner had information which led him only really to one conclusion, which was that it was an accidental death. There's no way that he could determine that there was any intention for her to kill herself in any way. So his option really was accident. It still leaves lots of questions. And this is the problem that exists when you have something like this. You have a finding of fact. So the coroner is really responsible for asking the questions. If he doesn't ask all the questions, then you won't necessarily get all the answers that allay the concerns of the public. This is a case that has absolutely, captivated worldwide, not just in the UK, across social media, across the many platforms, with people all having different views. I think what we are in a position now, for the family, we have to get to a position we say, do you know what, end of this case, let's put closure on it. Let the family now mourn in the way that they are. They've got some answers. They haven't got all the answers that they require, but ultimately, we're not going to know. The key question is, where did she go into the water? We now know she definitely went into the water. She definitely drowned in the water. What we don't know is what point she went in the water, and some of the questions in relation to how she could have fallen into the water right by the edge and become unconscious, and then go travel some 150 yards down towards where the Wyre is and then across the Wyre. Those just haven't been answered.
No.
But sadly, there is nobody else that can answer those questions.
Well, is that correct, though, Mark? Because what about this mysterious man in black who, having been identified and mentioned again at the inquest, has still not been discovered? What did we learn about him? And could he have been involved?
It was very strange yesterday when suddenly one of the witnesses mentioned this individual who they themselves thought was suspicious, which is why they contacted the police. I would have expected and would have hoped that the coroner would have asked the police, called the police back, or at least asked the question, bearing in mind the coroner knew a lot of this information prior to being in the hearing. It wasn't suddenly revealed to him on that day. Why we didn't get that answered? And actually, it just adds to this whole element of some of these answers just haven't been given. I'm not a fan of Lancashire Police. I think Lancashire Police have made a real mess, certainly of the media aspect of it. But they've made a big mess in terms of their communication process. The public now are going, well, who is this person in black? The Lancashire Police should come out and say, well, we tried to identify it was, we made these inquiries, we made these inquiries. We don't know. And for the conspiracy theories and for those people who just aren't happy that this is the right outcome, it leaves that on the table. And indeed, even for Nikki's family and friends who might at times have slight doubts in terms of what took place, they'll still be asking questions. Well, who is this man in black?
Yeah, totally, because we were when we were looking at the details of the inquest today. I guess the positive things, though, are for Nicola Bully's family, although I do not think this makes the police looks at all good, is that what we can categorically say now, Mark, is that she had no alcohol in her body. So alcohol was not involved, despite those disgusting slurs that the police made public at the time to take the heat off them. And I think that was unforgivable. And it wasn't a suicide. So for her husband and for the future of those two daughters, that is very important, even though some mystery still shrouds how she ended up in that river.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Lancashire Police were completely wrong when they released that information. I would have liked it. after the post-mortem for them to have come out and said there was no alcohol found in the body. Let's dispel that straight away. And actually they didn't, and they allowed that thought process still to continue on social media. So in reflection, and the police college have looked at this in terms of the media strategy. I hope Lancashire Police learn massively from this. But of course, what we are in a position now is that Paul and the rest of the family, the children and the mum and dad have now got some answers. They haven't got all the answers. Unfortunately, what happens in cases like this is that we try to apply logic to it. And sometimes logic just doesn't give us the answers that we're looking for. And events just occur as a matter of occurrence. So it is a very sad situation. How she ended up in that water, how she ended up in a position where she was in that water and then travelled downstream, we will just never know the answers to that. But Lancashire Police hopefully have learned something from this. I really would have liked Lancashire Police to have held their hands up and said, you know what, we didn't get everything right. We're really sorry. Our thoughts are with the family. But actually, Lancashire Police, throughout all of this, have never accepted any failings, never accepted it, that they got it slightly wrong. I think they could have been much more humble through this process. They should certainly have dispelled very quickly after the post-mortem that there was no alcohol in her body, having put the slur out that they did. Let's hope, moving forward, we can now put this to bed, that the family mourn in their way that they need to, and Lancashire Police have learned their lessons from it. And although they haven't publicly said it, hopefully within the organisation, there is a little bit of humility.
Well, Mark Williams-Thomas, thank you for your brilliantly accurate and incise coverage over the course of the disappearance of Nicola Bully. You didn't fall into the traps that so many others did, covering what is a tragedy that captured not just the nation, but the world. Thank you so much, Mark.
Okay, you guys. So for me, that was a brilliant piece. I think that it really absorbed all the things that we were thinking, questions and stuff like that. It was just a brilliant piece. And again, why didn't the Lancashire Police snuff out the fire about the man in black? Remember, there was that incident on January 7th when they had been looking for a man in black on Barrow Road for a lady that was in her 30s. So why didn't they just snuff out that fire? You know, they really wanted to bring Nicola Bully's vulnerabilities to the surface, but why didn't they snuff out some of those fires, right? Put it to rest. So just like they said in the interview, we were all thinking and have been thinking about this men in black that we've never heard of. I feel like personally in the inquest, like there was a lot of things that they actually really didn't explain. Like it was almost like, well, she probably fell in the water, took some breaths, within 10 seconds, you know, she died. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that. I was Google searching about the whole -4 degrees outside stuff. And I don't think that any of us are actually buying the fact that she went in the water and within 10 seconds just, you know, died. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff throughout this video. So again, keep watching this, guys. But let me show you another video.
So we heard this afternoon from the superintendent who led the investigation. She gave a timeline in relation to Nikki's movements on the 27th of February, from when she left home to when her phone and Willow were found near the bench, and also gave details in relation to witnesses. Then we were followed up by the digital expert, the police digital expert, who analysed not just Nikki's phone, but also this very significant Fitbit watch, which was on her wrist when her body was recovered. And the coroner has concluded some very clear specifics, and that is that from that analysis, he is saying that he is drawing the conclusion that Nikki went into the water after 09:18 and before 09:30, and most probably around the time of 09:22, which is when the heart rate on that monitor was at its highest. What has come out of today is one very significant piece of information which does still need to be answered, and that is the experts have said that the point to which Nikki went into the water, it would have been a matter of either instant or almost instant death because of the shock of going into the water. Yet the expert who talked in relation to travelling bodies in water has said that although her clothes would have provided some buoyancy, she would have sank straight away. So how does it answer the question that actually if she went into the water at that point, suffered water shock, immediately lost consciousness, why did her body not sink? How did it travel 2 miles downstream?
Exactly. So how is it that all these professionals weren't able to determine exactly how far Nicola Bully would have traveled in that time? Okay, I'll stop it there. Oops, I'll stop it there for a minute. On there. Okay. It was 4 degrees. I even just went back to look. It said 4 degrees. So obviously, anything below, I think 35 degrees, somewhere in there, obviously. Basically what they said about like -4 degrees, -5 degrees there. Not minus, now you got me saying that, minus. 5 degrees and 4 degrees. That's when the density is the most. So it doesn't matter if it's like 15, the density hits the most at 5, and that area right there. And that's when it's kind of like they're talking about your body, say goes into cold water shock, and that it's almost like your blood starts, I don't know, like rushing away or whatever it was. It was cold that morning, but no frost. Yeah, it was cold that morning. Again, we'll get into that, but I really like that guy. I don't know what his name is in that news clip of GBN, but I really like that guy because when he's talking, he answers the questions. Did you listen to that piece, Adam, or were you paying attention?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I just think that they called out the Lancashire police, for their cockiness and arrogance. And I want to put up there where Yorkie there, love you, girl. And Yorkie says, I haven't heard about the Boke in Black. Yeah, I know, right? I know. So Yorkie says, I work behind the scenes for the police and dealing with witnesses, and I've never seen anything like it in all my days when the phone and the bench area were not sealed off. And correct, considering Yorkie, she was deemed as a high misbah, right? Right away, she was deemed as a high misbah because of her vulnerabilities. And then when Rebecca Smith gave that most stupid statement when asked a question about that, she's like, well, like her answer was just like, well, because we already had people looking around the area. That was really her answer.
Right.
It was the most stupidest answer. I wanted to literally hurtle through the screen and be like, are you serious? Like, that's your answer? When somebody doesn't know how to answer, and it's because instead of just saying, you know what, we made a mistake, we probably should have done that, or we should have. So I think for us, again, I think part of the case we're just miffed off with the Lancashire police and how they handled it. Like, honey, is that truly you? If that's truly you, husband, then message me right now. Or are you?
That's him.
Oh, just want to make sure.
Right.
Just message
But,
me.
too bad because she's already married.
Baby, stand in line, okay? I know we have a wedding anniversary coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Wish you was my wife. Husband. Oh, he's a comedian. Hey, honey, there's somebody else in here that's from Nuneaton as well. D. Edwards. There.
Penny, I'll be right back. I gotta check something.
Oh, husband, it's not a 45-second delay. Let me lower that a little bit. 1 second. Husband's complaining about the about the slow mode. Slow mode on, but we'll do 20 seconds. There, we got to have some control, or else it gets by too fast. Anyways, get to work, honey. Get to work. I'm trying to do a lot here. So let's see here. Just going back to what you guys are saying. Ooh, is it ever hot in here too? Let's see. They were happy with Fife's statement to say he had not seen Nicola, but totally dismissed. Right, I know. Right, like I said, for me, this whole inquest was really just and same with the coroner. The only information he had was literally from, you know, all those that propagated that this is exactly what happened to Nicola. And again, they didn't want to hear from Peter Falding, who probably, would have said some things like, do you know what I mean? I think that was kind of bull. It was a one-sided event. And
Right.
so what is the coroner supposed to believe? All he's hearing is information from the family, from the witnesses and whatever. But really, there's not one person there that can tell the story of what truly happened to Nicola. And so it just became what sounds like the best solution to say that happened, because we deemed this, we didn't deem that she left anywhere, that any foul play was involved, so before the say whatever, but they were just so adamant right from the get-go, very arrogant, very, like, honestly, they sucked. I'm sorry, but they sucked. They let Nicola down, right? They couldn't. It's not to say, you guys, that it's not to say, because even from the get-go of this case, I felt like, okay, she could have had an accident, tripped over the leash, lost her balance, something that could have happened. But so I thought that, but then I thought that, okay, but because they can't find her, obviously they really suck at their jobs, because we're not talking about a huge river here. We're talking about this space. How is it that they weren't capable of determining how far her body would have gone if they couldn't find her right there? Like, why wouldn't they have kind of determined that within like the next day or so? Like, okay, well, we can't find her here. And so then it became, well, you guys can't find her. All these searchers, all this. But I was expecting to hear that she smacked her head on top of a rock. So I want to, hold on. Stop screen. Well, I left it off. I should have just left it on. Nicola Bully. Okay. Share again. When I go to here, I'll use the frosty day. No, I'm not going to use the frosty day, because that one makes it seem just really dark and gloomy, even though I know, okay. I mean, I'm going to use this image right here. First of all. So obviously, and Street Hawk was a channel that literally went in the water. I saw him doing that. So I had a couple issues with a few things. But thing is, if Nicola Bully fell, whoops, nope, I'm not trying to open you up. I need to go back over here. I just need to go to the part. Okay. So here, marijuana. Well, maybe I might have to go back to the. Okay, let's use here. We'll use right there. Okay. So again, okay. She's at the bench. Sorry, I'm just not happy with what I'm showing. I need to show. Hey, I want to show you guys this picture. Okay. So this is right there below the bench, And so you guys, again, you see the rocks there. They've talked about how much when somebody fell over or whatever, that you could literally stand up and you'd be like knee deep at best, type of thing. So the diver here went down these mud steps, and then there's the rocks there, and the rocks do go down further, and they do say that there's this, gradual thing, but you see a bunch of the rocks first. But they kept emphasizing, including Peter Falding, that, had she have gone in there, she would have just been able to stand up. And it's kind of like, look, Nicola was said to be a strong swimmer. She was obviously in good shape and fit. So you honestly think I'm going to buy the fact that Nicola didn't land just right there? Because I'll go back to this. Okay. So I know this looks a lot darker and gloomier because of the day that it's on, but bench is there. Harness is found halfway between the bench and the river. The only thing, if somebody trips, all they're literally going to do is go plop right in that water. They're not going to be like taking some sort of acrobatic dive into the water. If somebody loses their balance, or perhaps you lost your balance and rolled, but yet there was no signs of any slippage or anything. But, and case, this is a frosty day. The day that it happened was more of a muckier day, right? So you can understand if you get dew underneath your boots and it's muddy, perhaps you slid, but that would have left a mark. But they didn't claim that. They didn't claim that there was any concussion to her head or anything like that. But that's the thing, is you're not going to like be jumping off of that area. You're literally just going to roll down if you rolled, or if you kind of plunged forward, you're literally just going to be right there where it's still very shallow. So I can't buy into this whole, like, the way they make it sound is that Nicola Bully was like, in 10 seconds, it's like she flew out into the middle of the water, the river,
Well, and if this poses such a threat, I don't know, I wasn't there, but if this poses such a threat, is the village putting a fence along the river here? Because if it's happened to Nicola, then it's been such an innocent, accident. Clearly it could happen to anyone that's walking their dog. And even what if a dog fell in, and then no one could rescue their dog if you can't get out there. So I'd be petitioning the town to at least put up a fence along this if it's such a dangerous spot.
Right. Right. You'd think that they would do something like knowing that if she just went in there, that they would take a little bit more preventative measures if somebody happens to die there, because there is the slope, granted.
Of course.
But the thing is that, like I said, according to them, Nikki should have just been right there, right? That should have been just right there. Even if she had the shock, she should have been right there. And they're trying to make it seem like that the water was like a whole different level, which it wasn't. It really wasn't. And unfortunately, even though this guy's like got some good video footage, but when you go take a screenshot of it, it comes in a little bit more blurrier instead of crisper. But it was like I was trying to show the tree and the little doohickey coming out of it, and how you guys see that, of course, the mortar mud bricks or whatever you want to call them, that are basically, trying to uphold the rest of the ground or whatever, from it, sliding into the water or whatever. But anyway, so it's like, although the pictures are taken at different angles, you can still see that the little doohickey thing coming out of the tree is just literally above those bricks. And whether it was this particular day or the day that she went in, the water level was virtually the same, because obviously if you're looking at a picture and you're still seeing that same stick that's right above in the same position as at this time. So it wasn't like this water was so much deeper, right? It would have showed that in the level, but you could see that it was virtually the same, maybe a little bit. I think they said half a meter in his video on there. So it's not that I couldn't take the fact. I can take the fact that it was an accident, but she would have hit those rocks, meaning where is the whole brain thing? I can't see a strong swimmer, all that just rolls over top of the thing. And then somehow they make it seem like it's the middle. And they just came to the basic conclusion that, 10 seconds, she gasped there, and, but it just, not saying it's improbable, but that just means then that you guys were the sloppiest, that from start to finish, You guys suck.
And
I'll never want you guys, Lancashire Police, to ever freaking rescue me. No, thank you. No, thanks.
And I believe she was referred to as a holiday swimmer. So in my opinion, I don't know if I'd say that's a strong swimmer, but you know,
swimmer. I know. I kind of laughed at when they use that term, a holiday swimmer. Right, half a meter would be quite a bit, but again, if I take the comparisons, because all you have to do is look at the land, in a sense, from the 4th and then from the day, because I was trying to look for actual footage from the 27th, but I don't know that there is. So the 31st was the closest I could get to finding what the river was like, and that was the frosty day. Yeah.
Right. Yorkie, it does. I didn't notice it until just now, but now I can't not see it.
Oh, it looks like I have a crown. Is that what you're saying? Oh, well, I mean, it's a shoe fits. Yeah.
Yeah, we both have them.
Yeah. So different when I had Nicola's bow on my head that one day, on the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There are tunnels, overflow tunnels for flooding, and they are all up and down the river system. Ideal place to hide something or someone. You know, one of the things I was going to pose a question was to this. If this was your family member, would you be happy with this outcome, that was given? If this was your family member, would you be satisfied with this, with the answers, in a sense? Because I always like to look at the shoes on the other foot. And with the Nicola Bully case, like I said, you have to kind of look at it. Well, if this happened to me,
Right. I mean, personally, I think that, that I would probably feel differently depending on the day, just judging by how I've handled grief in the past. I mean, if I kind of came to the point where I knew there couldn't be 100% conclusive answer, I can see where a family would resolve themselves to the information that they have.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think, if you're a family member, you have to get to that point. I don't know if I'd be there yet with this case. But I think the answer would really depend on when you ask me.
Well, even actually in that GBN interview, it's kind of like, if this scenario happened to someone that I love, and then all of a sudden they bring up this man in black, like you have to put yourself in the heart. If this is your husband, for instance, right, or your wife, and that the answer you got back was this, you don't think for 1 second, like, to me, if I would be questioning it still myself, because I would probably have those same issues going on. I'd be going, but hold on, how, if this is an accident, like you're saying, like, like, what do you mean she died in 10 seconds? Like, I would still be questioning these things. And then if I heard about a man in black, I definitely, but if I wanted to console myself, I would just, but I'm not the person to sit there and console myself. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, let me ask you, Sonny. I mean, because I was thinking about this man in black thing, after we heard about it was it Monday? And, I mean, I'm not ever going to give Lancashire Police, the benefit of the doubt here. But, if they have a witness that says they saw a man in black and, they investigate it, presumably, I would, I would hope they did.
They didn't.
And they came to no conclusion, whether, responsible or not responsible. And they did not include it in this inquest.
Yeah.
And then it was found out later that, that had been omitted from the inquest. I think we would have just as many suspicions.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is a situation where, because of the witness statement saying they saw a man in black, I think they were screwed if they put it in, screwed if they didn't put it in. And that's the one grace I'll give Lancashire Police is that, you know, they were between a rock and a hard place, if you will, on this instance. But I want to know more about it.
I just feel like this is a very copy and paste answer. And as me knowing who I am, I don't know that I could accept that my husband died in 10 seconds. Sure, if it makes someone feel better to know that you died in 10 seconds, sure. But for me personally, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know, thinking to the viewers, and I'm like, would you be happy with this verdict yourself? If you put yourself in these shoes, would you be happy with the answers that they gave? And I would not. I would be going, it doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you know, then it will leave me wanting to know more because it doesn't make sense. Again, I could have handled if they said that Nicola Bully had a concussion, knocked herself out, and they just simply couldn't find her because they were useless. You know, that would be one thing, but they didn't. They basically, I think there was like they said like it was so weird. You have two articles that are just talking about the scratches or the bruise on the leg or whatever it was. And then you have this other article that's literally talking about blood on the chin, something to the nose. Yeah. And I'm like, are these people at the same inquest?
Right. Yorkie, just to answer Yorkie's question very quickly. Yorkie, this was mentioned in the inquest for Nicola Bully. I believe it was on day one.
Yeah. Yes. So that was by Fife. Yorkie, I have a video out there that I just released the other day. It has day 1 and day 2 events on it. And then what I did was because, like I just said about the blood on the chin in one, but not on the other two, I inserted wherever there was a little bit more something different said for the most part. But there's a video that's literally just about the inquest, day 1 and day 2. The witnesses are more towards the day 2 part, wasn't it? Was the witnesses day 2 or day 1? No,
Day 1.
Was it day 1? And then, oh, right. And Paul and the family and that were day 2. Yeah. So Fife, let me just go to the inquest. Inquest day 1. Okay. Okay, that was there. I just want to see if they got part 2. 1 second here. Evidence continues. Okay, no, this one doesn't. That was day 2. Blanks live. Some of them put the same day within. Instead of just, I could have gone to my video. No. Sorry, of course, you know, when you're trying to look for something, it's Nicola Bully inquest day 1. Okay. So it should be on this one, I think. Oh, no. Come on. In the morning, let's go to the witness. This one has it. Okay, that name was, there's Claire. There was a Claire there. The inquest. Richard Fife. So Richard Fife saw the man who was described as being dressed in all black and possibly wearing a beanie hat. See, beanie hat. Standing near the field twice and thought it was strange. After hearing Nicola had gone missing, Mr. Fife reported his finding of a man in black to the police. I don't like this one. It's not quite saying the full thing. Yeah, I don't really like this one. Oh my goodness. Let me go back to stream. I'll go to my own darn video. It was a video. It was day 1 and day 2. There we go. We'll come over to this one. That way we can pop up things. Yeah. Oh, that was obviously me talking. Okay. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Okay. Oh, and it has a part of the video.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just see. Terry Wilcox. Just got to find the spot there. Everyone. It's so hard because I can't really see it on here on the screen. Dr. Armour. Tell me if I'm too far. That's Thackeray. Did I go by the witnesses? No. Miss Bully. Dr. Morgan. You guys work with me here. My brain's drawing a blank. I should have looked for it first. I'm just trying to find the whole witness one.
I know. I'm over here trying to like scroll on it myself, and I'm like, oh wait, there's eyewitnesses.
Oh, Feist.
There you go. There's Richard Fife.
Okay, let me just go to Richard Fife stuff. Okay, mother who bumped in. That was Kay. Well,
You're in the vicinity of it now.
Yeah, I know. All you have to do is move it just a second. Well, let's just read here. So Richard Fife's statement based on the length of his dog walk. He saw Nicola between 9:10 a.m. and 9:20. She was looking at her phone screen, which he had seen her do before from previous reports. Here, let me just. Okay, no, it's still the same thing. Okay, Mr. Fife. Okay, can you guys see that actually? Whoops, wrong one. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Fife says he saw a male he referred to as a man in black as he walked towards where he saw Nikki and assumed he was waiting for a lift. Mr. Fife says he then saw him again on his way back. He was dressed all in black and possibly a beanie hat, and Mr. Fife thought it was strange he was still there. He was about 6'1" tall, the inquest hears. Mr. Fife says he then got into his car and drove off. When he drove past where the man had been, he was gone, the inquest is told. After hearing Nicky was gone, Mr. Fife says he reported his sighting on the man in black. So that's kind of what was said about that, Mr. Fife. Again, if you want to kind of catch up on the inquest or whatever, again, I tried to put in the different elements that were missing that one reported, because some things, like for instance, like the dog tag was talked about not on one of the medias that was covering it, but it was talked about on the other two. And I'm like, okay, well, we would have never known that unless you're literally scanning through the different medias, right? Because they're kind of really piggybacking off of each other. You can tell. And then, but there's some times where it gets a little bit more information out of one. And so sometimes it feels like if in this video, if you're reading two things that are similar, well, it's because there's something else in there that it didn't say in the other one. So it was really just kind of trying to do the homework for you guys and to show you everything that was said, and having those media sources that didn't say it here, but said it over here, something a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So that's to do with the man in black. Yes, report was hit and miss and poorly. Again, all I see here is that they wanted to shut down the case. Here you guys go, copy and paste. And then they leave you with a cliffhanger at the end.
Right. And Shelley, yeah, when they drove past, they said that when they left and drove past, they said the man in black was gone.
Yeah. So Mr. Fife says he saw a male who referred to this man in black as he walked towards where he saw Nikki. Right? As he walked towards where he saw Nikki and assumed he was waiting for a lift. So this is the guy with the 9:10 to 9:20, right? This is the one to see her. So it's that statement of as he walked towards where he saw Nikki, and assumed he was waiting for a lift. So, I'm kind of a little bit confused on that because he's the person at 910, not Mr. Barlow, like what was said. Keith Barlow, even though Keith Barlow has the fluffy white dog, but this is the guy that's saying with the phone in the hand, 910, right? That 910 area. So I'm like, so he walks towards where he saw Nikki and assumed he was waiting for a lift. So was he on allotment lane? Was he on allotment lane? Because it wouldn't really make sense that he was at the end of the towpath if he's the last person that saw her. Because he says he walked towards where he saw Nikki. I get very there's a few things in there, like Penny hurtling over a freaking stile. There's a few things in there that really were just like, huh? I don't know. Yeah, did you say drove past and the man in black was gone? Right. So it's kind of like, was it allotment lane? Like that seems to be like, it's weird because it's like when you see that when he drove past, and there he was gone. So it makes.
I took that to be that they were on allotment lane.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because it doesn't make sense to say the towpath, because it makes sense to say allotment lane, because if he walked towards where he saw Nikki and he was the last one, allotment lane's the only one that truly makes sense.
Right.
So, I mean, it could have been just the fact that he drove past, like, and he was gone, like, meaning where he parked, he left, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there.
Right.
Someone said that they do get insurance. It just takes longer. I was seeing somebody say that about suicide.
Well, and remember, they also changed some of the characteristics and how they define those things. So, I mean, that plays into it as well. Did you leave us, Sunny? Oh, she's muted.
No, can't you hear me?
You were muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was muted for a sec. So I was just turning on my fan because I was like, "Oh my goodness, is it ever hot in here?" Like seriously, you guys, we're in for a heat wave over here. It's gonna be like next week is gonna be like okay. Monday is my birthday, mine and my twin sister's birthday. So we're going to go to White Rock on Sunday because tomorrow is the holiday. Because usually when a holiday, and ours is Canada Day, right? July 1st here. US has July 4th. So for us, it's like usually typically if it falls on the Saturday, it's the Friday. And if it's on the Sunday, it's the Monday you get off or whatever. So me and my twin are going to go to White Rock Beach, which is the Pacific Ocean, obviously. Well, if you didn't know, you didn't know now. Hey, Frank. But so, yeah. So it's going to be like 32 degrees, 33 degrees coming up. So we're in for a bit of a heat wave. And as in the morning here, like the sun kind of beams through the window. That's why I kind of got a towel on the blinds or else I'll start having like white lines through my face on that. So, but anyways, yeah. So it's just really hot. That's why I just needed to turn on my fan for a second, or my air conditioner, I suppose. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that are kind of confusing. But the lady in the upper field left. Upper field, what lady?
Remember, there was another witness that saw Nikki and another dog walker in the distance.
Yeah, but that was, I believe, Angel. That's the lower field lady. That's the one that left. That was interacting with Nikki.
Yeah, I don't recall.
She said right. So the lead, as the way I took this, Angel, was that's the lower field lady, and that off in the distance she saw another dog walker, which would mean it was the 910 dude. And that she saw Nikki, and then like basically they interacted, saw Nikki, and then she left. But so to me, off in the distance, then is that 9-10 dude Fife. But then this is the same lady that says. So
Gotcha.
I think people might be getting a little bit confused, or something's kind of twisted about this as well. Is that this is the same lady that says that she saw Penny. You know, the only other person I saw is Penny. But the thing is that when she says saw Penny, that doesn't place her on the field, because we all know that you can see Penny and her tractor from the park, that you can
Right.
see Penny. So that could have just simply have been one of those things, that, you know, Penny wasn't on the field at 9:15. In fact, she did come at 9:30, but that one witness had seen Penny, you know, outside, because lots of times you know when Curtis goes there, you know, or even when Claire was there, there's Penny on her tractor, you know, there's Penny on the tractor, because she I mean, she has a lot to take care of. So to see Penny outside would be a very normal thing, because she has a lot to take care of on her day-to-day stuff. But a lot of people keep saying, well, I knew Penny was there at 9:15, but it doesn't say that. And that's, again, where kind of like the guy in black, you're kind of going, okay, so how do I take that? Was Penny on the lower field then? Because that's how I was taking that too. I was like, but then you have to think that it could have possibly just mean that she seen Penny, because Penny can enter from her field if she wants to through her own gate to the field. You know, so she could have just saw Penny, you know, at her own farm, like before she went to take the dog, you know, for the walk. See, but it just sounds, it's thinkers. These are thinkers. You're thinking, okay, so when Penny says I rounded the thing, okay, does that mean she rounded the tree, saw Willow on the other side of the stile, and she hurled her butt over there?
Right. Yeah, because my understanding is she came from that field on the other side of the stile.
Right. Well,
probably from her own property, clearly.
Honestly, you know, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, like, can't you just clear it up, people? Like, can't you just make, you know, like, you know, just clear it up so that we understand it, you know, and can go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Right. Penny's whole thing doesn't really make sense. And you're just kind of going, okay, you know, I mean, she says she's tying up her dog, and then dog tied to the bench, and I don't know, Ron, his wife being there. That one was a little twister too on that one. But Penny enters via hidden field on the other side of the stile. You know, muddying the water by asked who the lady in red was when they already knew. Well, because you're talking about Christine Bowman, whose picture was taken from the Fletcher home that Rupert and his sister Rebecca own, and that's on Allotment Lane. And the lady in yellow is on Allotment Lane as well. She's like, her picture, like, if people didn't know that, but I knew that right from the start, actually. I just didn't bother to actually. I think I went to look at it one day because I knew she was on like Allotment Lane. But then I remember Paul W. sending me something, and then I thought I'd go check it out. So you can see definitely she was on Allotment Lane as well. But that camera, when they say CCTV footage, you know, it's because like on the Fletcher home, that's on Allotment Lane, like they have the camera, and that's what captured Christine Bowman. So you would think that they would know who that was, right? Like, considering she was a teacher as well, and that's, I don't know, you know, and she's friends with Anne-Marie Fletcher, so that thing kind of a lot of things twisted around. Like I said, you know, I mean, even right now, really, like, yes, you got information about some witnesses and names and stuff, but there was nothing consistent about the timeline the entire time. And even going through the inquest, it's like, wait, so Penny hurdled over a stile? I thought it was simply that she came through and the dog was on the bench and the phone, not, oh, I hurdled over a freaking stile on stuff like that. Oh, you guys, I got to turn off my fan. As much as I like my fan being on and you guys can barely hear it, it really annoys
Distraction.
me. Yeah, because you're talking and all you're hearing is a
It's funny because we don't hear it at all. We don't hear it. So
no. So I was trying to think of an idea, and I'm saying that this is a very, very besides the rock thing. And this was just a very, very 3-minute thing I put together. Where is it? Fourth wall. Okay. Share. Let me bring this down. Okay. So I really, I literally just took it down. Okay. So fourth wall is like, a merch site. So if anyone ever watches a video, even though mine shows in Canadian, hey, Adam, does it show in Canadian to you when you're looking at my videos? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Does it show to me because I'm Canadian? So it shows it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, hey, so UK's money is far superior than the US and definitely Canada. But anyways, I was wondering, and I'll only do it if people are interested. And I was, like I said, this was a 3-minute thing that I just whipped together just to give you an idea. I was thinking about creating, a Nikki mug, with people's names on it that are interested in purchasing the mug, in a sense, meaning that for us that the case was impacted by, and like, again, you guys, this was just a quick mock-up that I did 3 minutes before the live, because it was something that kind of came to me. Not that I would use this picture or whatever, but it would have our name, like the names on it, for the people that are interested in perhaps having just like a piece of Nicola Bully with people's names that they wish to have on the mug, kind of like a universal thing, that, because this case that you followed and meant a lot to you. But I'm not going to bother if people just really aren't interested, and stuff like that. So just tell me in chat right now. I just hit 1 if that would interest you at all. Just if, and I'd make a couple options to show them to you. And then, then the viewers can kind of pick which one by a poll, which one to make. I'd make a few different designs. Again, only if it matters. See, stuff like that, it just really depends on a person. Do they give a shit, about just only the case, or do they want something special like a momentum
Right.
for the time that they invested in the case and have a little piece of Nicola in their home,
Right.
In that sense, on a mug that you drink out of, like a coffee mug, stuff like that. So anyways, if you're interested, press 1. I'll just start with that. If not, just press 2 then.
Right.
So I'll leave that up to you guys. I always like to do certain things. We did it for Blaine when Blaine passed away last year due to a overdose. Abby and Libby. We have for the Delphi case, we have items for Abby and Libby as well in the store, and then 50% of the Abby and Libby goes to the baseball park. Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like, I mean, for me to design something, takes time, but it's easy.
Right.
I have a merch shelf, which has the It's a Crime and Shame stuff on it, which is, in the description of this video. There's the link to go if you want to check out the stuff there. You can see some of the stuff underneath of a video, as it displays on there. But it was just one of those ideas that I just thought about, kind of like the rock thing. But this one was more of a personalized thing that,
Right.
would have people's names that only wanted to say purchase, that would be on it. So, you know, so in okay, I'll do up a video. I'll do up a video once I've made some mugs to give you kind of like a whatever, and we'll have like a poll on it. And then on that video that I do, that I'll show the different ones. Then we'll kind of do it like we did the rock thing, you'll put your name down, whatever, and in the comment section to say, whatever. Yes, I want in. Yes, I want a cup. Yes, I want to put, something like that, whatever.
And sadly, I have to go.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I know. When we decided to do this, I told Sunny I was available for an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I apologize for having to leave, but I've got to get back to responsibilities. So thank you so much, and I will. I'm sure we'll see you again. Or well, Sunny, I'll keep seeing you now, but I'll see you again soon.
Bye. Well, okay, take care. Bye, Adam. Thank you. At DW Bro, the only people that think that are the people that worry about other people's problems and have nothing better to do on there. This isn't about trying to make a profit. Like, for instance, you'll make $3.05 per sale. I really don't give a shit what people think. This is about having, first of all, it's my time to create and spend time doing it, first of all. But when it comes to people saying that you're riding off of death cases and stuff like that for clicks and views and for money, literally, I don't entertain that. I could care less what people say. I know where my heart is. I know why I'm doing something. And again, no one's forcing anyone to purchase it, buy it. And if people want to have that attitude, go right ahead. But those are usually the ugly people of the world. The people that start always thinking about stuff like that are the people, I'll tell you right now, the people that say that stuff, they don't contribute shit to any case. They don't contribute being a creator. They don't sit there and try to offer up information. All they do is open up their mouths and do this. So for me, I could care less. Like I said, I know where my heart always lies. I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. It's either somebody wants to or they don't. No one's forcing nothing. Yeah, I'm so over those type of people that literally do that. But why don't you go send an email off to the news for talking about people's deaths and sitting there saying that they're just raking clicks and views off of it too. People are stupid, okay? There's a lot of stupid people in this world. I'll tell you that much. But I'm so over trolls and people that try to create issues instead of just caring about other people, right? I know for a fact that I'm one of the very few channels that literally create a ton of tribute videos in caring and do things for the actual victim because I care to do that, because I care about the case and the people. There's a lot of people that don't do anything like that whatsoever. Maybe it's not their forte. It doesn't matter, So with myself, I love who I am as a person. Okay. I give a lot. I do a lot. I've always been a caring individual, but as you get older, you learn where to place that giving and kindness. And because you realize that people can absorb you, soak up all your positive energy with negativity and stuff like that. I'm such a secure enough person with who I am. I really don't give a shit what other people think about that at all. Right. But I like the fact that I take time out of my own life to give it to somebody that I don't know, because that's how much I care about other people. So preach it, Sonny. Preach it. Preach it. How about Angel and the Crystals? How about the Angel and the Crystals? Is that, are you trying to say I have an idea, Carol? Hey, I mean, is that what you're talking about? No, the thing is that this isn't about making some big profit off of Nicola's thing. It's if somebody wants me to do it, I'll make it. I'm not going to sit there and have this huge upcharge. So if the channel makes $3 out of it or something like that, again, does my time mean nothing whatsoever? To do stuff like retail, $13, $26, right? That's retail for you. But I don't give a stuff. It's not about money. It's about, I'll do something special. If you guys want me to, I will create something that you guys can have a memory of if you want. If not, it's neither here nor there to me, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not like I'm making barely any money off of the merch stuff. I mean, honestly. Shelley, I'm in UK. What do you mean foot markers? On there. Hey, Shelley. That's why. But yeah, I mean, the UK money is first of all better than ours. It's like less, to be honest with you. I'm just saying it's a nice idea. Yeah, I know. It's just that when you're a creator, throughout the time, you always get those low lifes that always make comments like that, and yet they do nothing for nobody because they're selfish, they're absorbed, they care about what other people are doing. They're always there to throw slag at people because their life sucks themselves. And that's the only thing you always have to remember, is that people that say stuff like that, I mean, there are people that totally ride off of these cases for clicks and views. Don't get me wrong. That's their prerogative if that's what they do. Have life insurance policy on Nikki, and if so, would they only? Well, someone said that. I just know that someone said that yes, they would pay out, but it would just take longer. Yeah. I mean, I personally, Sabina, myself, don't believe Paul had anything to do with it myself. So I could, for me, I don't care about that stuff. Some people have looked into it, but I don't think, unless someone provided you with the paperwork to show, that there was life insurance, I mean, a lot of people do have life insurance on their partners, and then there's some that take advantage of that, and out their partner and stuff like that. But it's one of those things. There's certain things, unless someone would provide you with the actual information, that's just a matter of guessing. How about put an angel? I'll put on the Christmas tree with her name. Well, let me put it this way. I mean, everyone has their ideas for things at Christmas time. That's a nice idea. I'll tell you what. This is what I will offer anyway, because it gets too convoluted when everyone starts being designers or trying to say add this, add that, add this. It makes it hard because you can't please everybody. So I'll put this out there, is that I'll create a design. If anyone else would like to create a design using, a template or whatever, like I use Canva, for instance, okay? And Canva, if you guys don't know, I mean, there's a link in the description if you guys want to use my affiliate link, but if not, or no, was it Canva that did that? Actually, it's not even an affiliate link anymore. I think, anyways, doesn't matter. Canva is what I use. Right, and then I take it over into Fourth Wall and create. So if anyone has an actual creation, you have up until let's say today's 29th. Let's say the 4th. You have up until the 4th to get it to me, to acrimeandshame@gmail.com. And then we will put them out to a poll to which one. I mean, it's not like they can't go up there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and go, oh, let me take a piece of this or that. If somebody wants to send me a mock-up and do their thing for it, for a Nicola Bully mug, you know, it's not like I can't have 5 different mugs up there and then people just purchase whichever one that they want. So if you truly want to create one for Nicola Bully the way that you have it envisioned, I can absolutely take that and apply it to a mug, and people just have the option of picking whichever mug that they want. So if you are interested in doing that, then you have to send me an email with the picture that you wish to. Like, I don't want to do the work for you. You literally have to create a Nicola Bully design and send me the picture, and I'll place it on the mug. And then, you know, and if there's too many of them, obviously I don't want to do too many. So we'll do like perhaps like the top 3 mugs in a poll, something like that, you know. So I'll leave it at that, because I just know when there's too many people that are going, oh, this would be a great idea, this would be a good idea. As a creator, that's like our worst nightmare, right? So I like to create the designs thinking about Nicola Bully and stuff like that. So I'm giving you that option. If you have a visual of something you would like, then it's not really hard. It's not hard at all. Go use Canva, go use the free version, go use whatever program you want that makes a picture and apply it with the Nicola Bully stuff. It's quite easy. Hi, lady. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, a beautiful mug of a Christmas tree too. Like I said, more of a Christmas theme. But okay, you guys, is that fair? That's fair enough. Okay. What I just offered there, you have up until the 4th to submit me a Nicola Bully picture for the mug, and we'll just go from there. I'm just, like I said, it's just an idea. This way you can be involved too if you really want to create some sort of design that you would like out there. Again, it can be put up on the site as a few different options, whichever one, you know, visually you like the best, stuff like that. I think that's a fair way. I like to include people to do certain things for sure. So that's your inclusion right there if you're interested. Okay. I think that's fair. The divers weren't to blame here. The reason they never found her was because she wasn't there. Not until weeks later. The reason they are going with accident is because no crime scene was preserved. I guess, you know, like I said, Diane, it really just depends on how you look at this case. To be honest with you, it just depends if you think it was an accident, but she didn't go in there, or if you don't believe she was there in the first place. It just really becomes, because there was not really anything ever, you know, it was just a copy and paste answer of this is what happened. They can't prove anything otherwise, really. All they can go by is, you know, here's what it is. You know, there's no third party involvement. You know, Nicola Bully fell in the water, and this is our narrative, and that's what we're sticking to because that's what makes the most sense to them. And it doesn't matter if there was pie in their face throughout the inquest, that they didn't budge. You know, their arrogance completely showed on, you know, even at the inquest, they didn't answer the full questions. If they were being fair, they would have had, you know, Peter Falding come in and give what his intake was on it and stuff like that. They just pushed their own narrative to the coroner. Coroner said, well, this is information I have to go on, so that's what we're going to go with. And in all fairness, again, for the family, if this is what their closure is to the family, then so be it, right? I just know that if this was my husband that the same thing happened to, I wouldn't be happy with the answers from the inquest. You know, that would be like, for me, that would be like kind of just giving up on the truth. because I don't believe Nicola Bully fell in the water and within 10 seconds she bit the dust. I don't believe that, you know. But do I believe that she was thrown in at the other side? No. I don't personally believe that someone placed her in the water there, but, you know, I just think that whatever happened to Nicola Bully, there's nothing. Like, we don't have anything we can back it up with. We don't have anything that they don't have anything they can back up their answer with. They don't. They just have probability, but they don't have any answers, you know. I don't know. Just really depends on how you feel about this case. Yeah, you know, I'm still not sure, like, my feelings. Like, I mean, it's not like we're going to keep sitting here doing coverage after coverage about Nicola Bully. You know, I mean, there's a point there where it's kind of like, you know, keep Nicola's memory alive, you know, have a space to talk about Nicola Bully still for the people that feel unresolved with it still and stuff like that, you know. But I'm not going to sit here and write off of the case just for the sake of putting out a video. But I do know that this channel still has a few more things to do and say for sure with Nicola Bully. But, you know, so when it ends, I don't want to say ends because it's no different than this Suzanne Morphew case. You know, like, you just don't forget. You just don't do at least for me, you don't just do a case and then just forget that person existed and then be like, okay, you know, next case in line, check, 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 check. That's not how my brain works. You know, again, it's for the kind, caring people out there in this world that truly make a difference. And then there's the people out there that are just like, next case to ride from. Yeah, next. Oh, this one sounds like it's going to get me some clicks and views. Next. You know, I just, I don't know. What do you guys think about all that? I guess, like, are there people in this chat right now that are kind of, you know, like, you're tired now? Maybe let Nicola Bully just, you know, rest in peace. How are you guys feeling about that? Because, like I said, inside me, I have to always feel a purpose for a video, not just do a video to make a video. Those ones, I don't like things being contrived like that. It has to be because something came to my mind and I wanted to show it to you guys to see what you guys think of. Well, because again, I mean, it does make a difference, people's opinions, because if everyone's opinions were the same, it would be a darn ass boring world if everyone thought the same way, you know. And that's the magic of having different thoughts and opinions, is that it gets you to look sometimes as maybe, oh, maybe I was wrong there. Maybe this did happen. It could have been. You're saying that it won't move forward? Right. Yeah, but it's one of those things, right? Like, you know, when the start of the Nicola Bully case happened, you know, obviously, like, I could see it by some people's, although I was paying attention to the case, I didn't dive into it until like a few days, like a week had gone by. I was like, wait, like, they haven't found her? Like, what's, like, really? And I was like, because I was just expecting Nicola Bully's case, that I was looking at it, but, you know, for all those people out there, you know, like, that started it from the get-go, like, videos were getting like over 100K views, you know, blah 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 blah. And then you could you know, you can always tell that there's the people that following the case, then once she was found, was like, oh, okay, you know, and then they move on. And then there's the ones that believe something more nefarious happened, or that they're invested in the case because they don't believe that the Lancashire police are, you know, giving the truth of what's really going on. Or, well, there was just no answers, you know. But so now we're at a point where we've had an inquest. Yeah, the unleft boot we're missing. I was wondering about that. Where we have the inquest, and again, there's going to be people that are like, okay, rest in peace, Nicola Bully. And then they move on to another case themselves. And then there's people that are going to stick around and still want to see Nicola Bully stuff, but it will always do the slide start when case happens, and then it starts sloping down. So at the end of the day, unless there's some like other proof out there, like sure we can nitpick everything, and I'd still like to put everything on. I'd still like to put everything on a Google map, to kind of place people in their spots, and now that we've heard witnesses and names and stuff, and that person and stuff, I don't know. I'm still in thinking mode. I don't know what to think with Nicola Bully at this moment. So I'm just simply asking you guys, do you guys still want to see Nicola Bully videos, or are you pretty much, Hi, Victor. How are you? Thank you for becoming a sub. I believe because of the way it is left, there are questions that need answers. I think that there definitely is some unanswered questions, but, can we change the outcome of the thing? No, probably not. Yeah, I agree. Testimony from Peggy and timeline doesn't quite fit. I know. There are definitely things in there, you guys, that just don't make sense. What doesn't make sense to me is Nicola, if she just had an accident there, well, why wasn't she just there? How did everything else go wrong then? The psychic sleuth. Hey, Bear of Love. Talking about Rochelle. Maybe something will come to light in the future. Most of us, it's just that most of us are not happy with what they're trying to sell us. It's just like a copy and paste answer. It's like, we don't have no proof, but here you go. Here's the easiest solution for her case. And I'm just not buying it, that she was unconscious. And you just have an accident, which would render you right there. Show me a concussion on the head or something that would have knocked her out then, But don't act like she did like a triple flip, cow pow, side pow thing off of the freaking ledge and ended up way out there and you couldn't find her. If somebody fell off that, they would just literally go plunk right there, right? Like it's not like she's taking this running. Brrr. Anyone that's falling, that's going to trip, right? They're going to sit there and be like, whoa, and you're going to grab for something, and if anything. So if she would have went forward, okay, so my thing was this: if she went forward, and because it's on a gradual incline or a decline, I should say, that she would have put her hands down perhaps to stop herself, because she went falling face forward, and she would have put her hands down, and because obviously it's on a decline, that she would have maybe hit her head on the rock, like smacked her face into a rock, because her hands are lower in a sense than, say, perhaps the rock that she would have hit. That would have rendered her unconscious or something. That I could buy. I could buy that happened. And just the fact that they simply missed her in the water. I could buy that, but that's not what they were showing in the autopsy. It was just kind of like she fell in the water this deep, and it was like she gasped for a water shock, right? Okay, come on now, water shock. Someone that's fit, freaking barely knee deep, right in that area where she would have fallen into. Like I said, it's not like she flew off this thing like they're trying to portray. Like she was in the middle of the water almost, is like they're trying to portray, and that she got water shock and she drowned, and she should have been right there. No, I'm sorry. That's not how something happens. When you trip or fall, You're going to go right there in front of you, right close to where that ledge is of the water. That's where you're going to end up. And you're going to end up with some sort of, probably, like I said, kind of concussion if you've hit the water this way, But they don't know any of that. They just don't know any of that. Well, I know. I mean, and that stuff's always looked at. That's just a given, right? Whenever there's a death, I mean, they're supposed to, you start from the inside, work out. You start with, okay, like what happened here? But they deemed it was simply a MISPA case right away, no third party involvement. They didn't cordon it off. It reminds me, like I said, almost like a little bit with Delphi there. Like, they just didn't do the job that they should have done at the start of her case. And they just didn't do that. Then YouTubers and that started coming along, and they started griping about those people instead of focusing on the case. And yet they had control of that. They had control to seal off the area until Nicola Bully was found, considering they thought she was right there in the water. They had control over that. They didn't have any control over this case whatsoever, because they didn't, seems to me, follow standard protocol, what you would do if somebody's a high case MISPA, because instantly a high case MISPA and the vulnerabilities, they are thinking that perhaps even the family and even Paul suffering is thinking that perhaps Nicola did something to herself. Perhaps that, it was a suicide. So there was no alcohol found, like I said, in Nicola. Like I said, I'm thinking a suicide would have been a little bit more conclusive with answers and whatever. So something tempted her away from belonging a pet. Considering her family said that Nicola knew not to go near the water there, because obviously you can tell that it's dangerous. It would have been precipitatious that day. Meaning there's rain on the ground on that morning. I showed you guys the weather forecast in the video that I just put out. It was 18 with some rain, and the ground was a bit wet, so she could have slid, but there was no slip marks. So they just gave the answer that they wanted, that was the most simplified. We don't know the answer, so here you go. This is what we think happened. And then all the experts just played into that whole thing that, yeah, I mean, I guess if, there's nothing to prove it, but, look at this, cold shock happens. You could lose unconsciousness in 25 by our experience as expertise. That 25 seconds probably would have been unconscious just due to that, whatever. I'm sorry. I've seen people in freaking far colder water than that. Yeah, you have shock because you're hitting freaking cold water. But again, she didn't propel way off into the middle of this freaking river. If she had an accident, the accident means she should have been right there, right by the thing. Now, if she was pushed, whole different story. She would go flying out there, right? And that's where people are going, well, hey, well, what about this man in black? This man in black, like if he attacked some other lady on January 7th near a canal, type of thing, and Nicola Bully's stay by herself there. And then there's this guy that's spoken of about the men in black, and the Fife guy walks to near where Nikki was and sees this guy dressed in black. I mean, come on. They literally left an opening there for people to go, what? Like, you guys didn't bring him up in the inquest? You only heard about it because Fife made a comment to that? I mean, I bet you any money when Fife brought that up, that Becky and all that were going, oh, shit, we didn't want that to come out. So you don't think? So that's just what makes it all hard to believe. Everything. They couldn't find her. They want us to believe that in 10 seconds she bit the dust. And hey, if that's what satisfies the family, tell you it wouldn't satisfy me if that was my wife. But I'll say my husband. If I heard the same thing, I wouldn't be satisfied myself. because it doesn't seem logical what they're selling. I mean, they're just selling how they want to close the case because they can't determine what actually truly happened. I mean, they couldn't tell if somebody drowned her, type of thing. Like, they wouldn't, unless that person left bruises, like marks on her neck. Someone could just hold the head underneath. Doesn't mean that they're able to tell that. And sadly, there's a lot of cases out there that do get rendered with the wrong verdict to them because they just don't have the answers. So you would think more, but because the inquest geared everyone towards, like, especially like the experts geared everyone towards cold shock, this would have happened, da 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 da. Hi Sunny, I put a video up on my channel, could not find who had uploaded it. A fellow Welshman led me to you. You had added Nikki to the left of the bench. Also on the bench was a number 1. Added Nikki to the left. I'm trying to understand what you're saying to me here. I put a video up on my channel, could not find who had uploaded it. A fellow Welshman led me to you. Okay. You had added Nikki to the left of the bench. Is that to the left of the bench? Are you talking about the more of the animated one, the video? But also on the bench was the number 1. I'm not sure where this number 1 was, besides the number 23. I'm not sure. So are you saying it was my video? Yeah, I'm still not fully sure what you're saying to me there, but I'm trying to decipher it, Victor. What's your channel? What's your channel name? Is it Victor Terrence? Okay. If it was my hobby, I would demand answers. Again, yeah. I mean, I would too, because this is my husband, and kind of like what the GBN said there, right? Like you don't think, I would think that, like, perhaps that the family would be questioning, like, okay, so she had an accident, like, she would have just landed there. And then now they have that little thing in her head of the black person in black. So it just depends on, yeah. Next to the number 1 was a man in the shadows. Then Nikki. Oh, man. You know what? You're going to have to send me an email, Victor. You're going to have to send me an email with the link to the video or something that you're talking about. You're going to have to send it to it's at crimeandshame@gmail.com address. There's a man in the shadows and Nikki. Yeah, sorry. I'm still kind of tired. It's exhausting, yeah? When you're following a case and, there was the inquest going on and you're trying to make videos and cover things, and it's exhausting. Like I said, people sit there and say you're raking money off of this, and yet if I really truly looked at what the revenue is from YouTube ads or from donations and that, it's literally like pennies an hour if you equate that into a month. I typically spend 12 to 16 hours, 18 hours sometimes a day, going over stuff, creating stuff, dealing with social media stuff or this or that, so but it's something by choice that I chose, right? So, like, I put in a lot of time just because I care. Simple as that. And then I didn't go, ooh, you know what? I think I can make money off of YouTube and people's deaths. And I never. You know, it's one of those things to me, with hard work comes reward, in a sense. So I always feel like this channel will grow based on integrity, based on truthfulness, based on, you know, trying to put the facts out there and just being transparent. And me nor Adam can do things for any other reason besides being honest with who we are at the core of who we are. So, you know, we can't sit there and do something for the sake of the views and the clicks and getting subs. So if that comes organically through, you know, being who we are as a channel, then so be it. And those people that will get to the top faster are the ones that push you out of the way and go, you know, oh, look, I know this isn't true, but hey, let me post a video on this, because I know that all those conspiracy theorists fall for this stuff, so they love it. So I'm going to say, Brian Koberger's innocent. Is he innocent? You know, like all those different things that people do. Streamlabs got you. I know you weren't posting. The mind can only boggle for so long. Rest, coop. Yeah, recoup. Victor Terrence 4279. The video was called Nicola at the Bench too. Victor. You know, I'll look into that after. I will. Okay. But let me see. Yeah. Is that how your YouTube name is spelled? Just like that? Yeah, absolutely. And there are channels like that, William, like that totally just do it like that. They know where their bread is buttered. They know how to, you know, play the game, if that's what you want to call it. But it's only a game if people, like, you know, don't care, right? I mean, it's one of those things. That's how they market food. You know, they market the bigger products, buy up all the shelves that are eye level, and then the ones that don't pay for that premium spot, you know, they're the ones that sit up top of shelves and below shelves. And, you know, so it's all just really a marketing game, in a sense, to how people sometimes do things, right? Because for some of the channels, you know, it's a marketing game, really. And again, my thing is this: we're adults, we're old enough to tell the difference between genuine and false, and we're old enough to know if we want to follow a channel or donate to a channel or subscribe to a channel, right? That's our accountability to us. So don't be shocked when you come to find out that the person that you're donating to, for instance, jailer, you know, has spent 10 years in prison scamming people. What does that tell you about where his interest lies in trying to help solve true crime cases, right? But people are like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. You know, I like to follow him and watch his information anyway. It's funny how people's morals go right out the window when it comes to what they would do in real life versus the internet. I find it quite laughable myself to watch people act like that or talk like that. Oh, we hate this person, whatever. He's, you know, he's slime, he's scum, he's this. Oh, but I'm going to keep watching his content. You know, we don't care if he's a wife abuser or this, you know. I think in real life you would care if he was a wife abuser and that same person was dating your daughter. I'm sure you would. But for some reason, people's morals go out the window on the internet. Not mine. Like, you know what I mean? I try to keep mine intact, not being perfect, but I try to keep them intact. If I don't like somebody, I'm not going to go back and watch their channel typically. Why would I? I don't like watching them. Why am I going to waste my time watching somebody I don't like? Right? But anyways, people's morals just whatever sometimes. So all I have to say is I'm only here to worry about this channel and what this channel does, not other people's channels. that's your guys' responsibility to donate or go subscribe to them, even if they, have criminalized. It's each your own, make up your own minds like everybody else. My videos normally get 40 to 50 views. This had over 3,000 views in under a week. So sorry, Terrence, my bad. So Victor Terrence for, okay, give me 1 second. Victor Terrence, let me just try to find this. If I can't find it, because sometimes if you're a smaller channel, it's harder to find you on YouTube land, even with typing the name in. So Victor Terrence, and there's spaces. Victor Terrence 4279, and then I'll put in Nicola Bully. See if that finds you. Nope. Victor Terrence 479. No. You're gonna have to. I mean, like you have Victor Terrence, but is there spaces between that? Hi, positive vibes. It's either that or you're gonna have to send me the link to my email. Because I just typed in Victor Terrence and that number, and it didn't come up. And then I type in Nicola Bully because then it should take me over there. So it's really on how someone spells their name. But if you're a channel that, thing is that I can't drop links in here, What's your @ sign for your handle? Do you know? Like, is it like, do you know like how a crime and shame, if you did at it's a crime and shame, it will pull up my channel because YouTube deals with handles and that now. If not, I'll just have to save it for a different day. Say that again, Sabina. So then why did your mod Angel tell me I am not allowed to ask? No, you can ask. You're allowed to ask. The only thing for me ever about when it comes to this, and these mods, remember this, if somebody is being disrespectful to us on the channel, and they're just totally being ignorant in chat, that's the only thing I don't want to see or hear. If people are just being like idiots. But if sorry, I'm not sure, I didn't see it if Angel did say that. Angel, if she did, you can ask about it. I don't know the answer to that, but you can ask about it. That's not out of line. I would like to know how she got that head injury. What head injury? Oh, you're talking about from the 10th? When she was dizzy, bonked her head or something? Hi, Helen. Why she wouldn't say how she got it and took... Right, we never heard about that, did we? Really? Because Louise was the one that called on her sister. I mean, it must have took Louise a lot to have to do that, to literally make that phone call, for her sister, because that's how worried she was about her sister. You know what? Maybe Angel. I don't know. I don't know if Peter Falding will. I think after the second day, I was like, he's probably just going to let it lie where it is, move on, like, he's a smart enough guy to know when to kind of just leave things. He might. The first day I was thinking, oh, Peter's going to have a lot to say. But by the second day, I was like, yeah, I don't know, actually. Hi, Benjamin. I'll leave it alone. Actually, I'm looking at this because I'm not really sure exactly what you meant by that. Like, I mean, I kind of get the gist of it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what your statement meant, though. Yeah, what about the screams personally? I discounted those myself. Because if someone hears a scream at 9:30, the same time that Penny shows up, I just think that's people that heard noises. I personally didn't invest too much thought into those. When you realize the time and the distance from where they would have heard this scream. And you can tell that they didn't invest too much time, and that the judge, even not the judge, the coroner too. I personally didn't put much thought into it. If Penny would have heard the scream, somebody would have heard the scream. But these people were on allotment lane and over towards the church. So oh, still got to be nice though. Okay, I think I'm pretty sure I know what that GTH means. Still gotta be nice. So, like, because just if she said that, I don't know. I didn't see if Angel had said that you couldn't say that. And Angel's a good person. But if that was said, and most people don't know because, like, for instance, Angel was just modded recently, but we just don't like attacking of the channel on people that come in here and basically sit there and say, oh, you're leeching off the case, or they just troll and they're ignorant. Hence why I blocked what was his name, Pincho somebody or whatever. Heard he got banned from another channel too. Right, and then he sends me this email of some sort of apology that really wasn't an apology. It was like somebody giving me a therapy class on how I was thinking and feeling, and type of thing. I was just like, that's not an apology. That's just like going, hey Sonny, but here's all the things that you were thinking. I was like, screw you, dude. He seems to know what he was. Peter is the only person, I believe, since the case started. Well, I mean, Peter is just a outspoken personality, right? I appreciate people like Peter Falding, who's like, no, don't try to put me up against a wall and say that, I didn't find her. You guys didn't frickin' whack down your bushes or check the reeds properly, perhaps, or didn't do this and stuff like that. I mean, based on the below the water surface sonar, obviously, like I said, I watched some creators out here that are scuba divers that rescue people as well. And you can, and I've seen their sonar machines and what it can see out, but you have to be experienced as well in it. But I just feel like it was a sloppy job from, start to finish. And I get that Peter, with everything that he looked at, came across, he can categorically say that she is not in that river, in that part or whatever. But again, so they tried to place blame on him. So again, regardless of whether she was in there the whole time or not, they literally just tried to like place it on him, and they really just didn't eat their own cow pie. Everyone was a scapegoat. TikTokers were a scapegoat. Everyone was to blame. Everybody was to blame besides themselves. That's the whole arrogance of this. And that's why, hence people are so not only are they just disappointed about the Nicola Bully case, but it's because of how they acted the entire time, right? From start to finish. Didn't cordon off. And then to the arrogance of how Rebecca Smith is talking, how Snowden's talking, just the arrogance of it all, right? As if we know everything. And then they, like I said, they start worrying about the TikTokers. Oh, well, somebody's going to drop a story about the vulnerabilities. So you know what? Let's get to the punch and like the guy in the GBN said, applaud him because it was such disgusting behavior. They should have never have put that out there. It was none of our business. And they just did it for, like I said, to take it and deflect it off of them. And there ended up being no alcohol in the body, just more pie in their face for doing that. They deserve the wrath of that, But we didn't deem that they did anything wrong. Yeah, it's like I said, you're rating your own self. You're rating your own team there, Well, the part where I feel like Peter was a bit unprofessional was when when he himself thought that perhaps it was a decoy, the phone. I don't think that when you're there to be part of a search team, just like the police, you're not there to speculate on that stuff. So I think by him saying, he fed into it for people when he said that. So I think that that was inappropriate, because it's not like he's just a regular Joe Blow. He's part of the search team. And then he puts that out there about the decoy of the phone. I didn't think that that was professional. I remember watching that and I'm like, really, dude? Did you just say that? Like, it's one thing for us to think it and say it. It's another thing when you're part of the search team and you are a professional. You don't sit there and go, well, like, I think that perhaps the phone was a decoy, because then that's just propagating more people to go, well, Peter Falding says it and he couldn't find her and he's amazing and this and that. And then he says that. But I didn't find that professional when he did that. And yeah, Peter was bragging about himself. He definitely has confidence. Call it bragging, call it arrogance a bit. You can absolutely see that in him. But it's one of those things too. People call it arrogance to me sometimes because I hold ground. I'm not going to sit there and listen to somebody tell a bunch of crap, or make me be the blame for, in a sense, like Peter. So it just depends. Confidence and arrogance are a fine line, because it can easily be taken as arrogance by Peter, but it can also be taken as confidence as well. And me too, same thing. I am in no way an egotistical person, but when it comes to trying to take away from me, the things that I know about myself, and someone's trying to twist it and turn it to their narrative, and you know who you are, then you're going to piss me right off. And I'm not going to shut up, And so that's why I enjoyed Peter when he spoke. He's like, no. But you could see he had to tone down a few of his thoughts that he wanted more to say. But, you could see that. But again, you got to try to be professional too as you're saying things. Thing was, on a personal level, he wasn't wrong in thinking, hey, maybe this, was a decoy. Maybe this, whatever. But when you're in the public eye, and you are, you do have to watch what you say. You do. It's no different than anyone else, right? Especially when you become a somebody, you really have to make sure that you monitor the things that you're saying. Look at Andrew Tate, right? When he was a nobody gave two shits about him. But now that he's a somebody, right? You got a ton of haters out there as well. And yet he's just trying to speak his mind on how he feels. Granted, a bit much at times for sure. I just feel like he said a little bit. I don't think that was correct. I just remember listening to that interview and going, did he just say that? No, when you have a following, and especially because of everyone that heard of Peter, and that he was this searcher for 30 years, and that, again, you have to be careful with what you're saying to the public. And that, I don't think it was appropriate, him saying that about the phone, for sure. The police were so arrogant, usually at the start of the case. Police, we think it's in the room. Right. But no, we know she, yeah, absolutely do. Thanks, Denise. What do I say, Dennis? Denise? Yeah, police sent up drones. Police sent up drones. They brought in cadaver dogs. Right? I mean, it's just kind of when you look at the scope of it. It really, I mean, okay, with the technology out there, I know that I'm not a professionalized scuba diver. I know I don't work for the police force. You have a small little river. You have cadaver dogs. You have people on land, on water, searching, and you still come up with a big Cheerio, you know? Looks really bad, to be honest with you. And then add arrogance to the Lancashire police. It just makes it, the perfect kind of storm for people to be enraged with Nicola Bully's case and how it was handled. Yeah, no name. Yeah, I've that's on that business site that anyone can really go check out. So if Nicola Bully was not the S word, for to say that, why a self-harm? Why is it easier to believe she fell in rather than being pushed in? Well, it depends. I mean, to some people, it's not easier to believe at all. Nobody really knows the true answer, but, I mean, the thing I can understand, again, is if she tripped over. Okay, you're totally on a slope, and you guys know how it is when your dog wraps himself around you or something, or maybe you're holding on to the leash and you're wearing boots and it's mucky and you slip. You lose your balance. It is a slope, and it was precipitous that morning, but the answers following didn't make sense. So, I mean, typically it's easier to believe that somebody just fell in rather than some random pushed in, because it's easier to show explanations for falling in. And it's kind of like if someone were to have held Nicola Bully's head underneath the water, and there was nothing else to show it, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know if it was that or not, because there's no marks on Nicola Bully to show that, right? Just that her water got lungs in the thing, but they wouldn't be able to tell you, unless they somehow match up some DNA to tie it to some, person. They wouldn't be able to tell you that. Like, someone could hold my head underneath water right now. And again, if there's no markings to sit there and show that there was signs of that, they're just going to think I drowned in the bathtub or something. That water got into my lungs and I fell asleep and drowned or something like that. Hi, Mustang. You really need to Google Daily Mail online. About what? No name. Most logical explanation here is foul play, not accident, and most people don't recognize this. Well, again, it just becomes the perception of every individual, because I think the opposite of that foul play was only when it was getting to the sense of that they couldn't find her. There was no sign of her. Did somebody take her? There was a lot of things being talked about. So for me personally, it was either self-harm because of the information they put out, and there was lots of things to back that up. The hardest one to believe actually was the accident. I mean, at first it was like, okay, accident, but they didn't find her, right? So it was actually the hardest one to believe was the accident one, because it didn't make sense. Nothing made sense to the accident, you know. And then you have someone like Peter Fulton coming out and saying, like, you know, if she went in the water, it was not there. Because nobody could make sense of their storyline that they were trying to feed. And so it was probably the accident one that most people just didn't buy out of any of them. The foul play one, like I said, for me personally, it was never really, it got that way only because when they couldn't find her. But once they found her, then it was just more, I really thought more self-harm than anything. But yet I was torn between self-harm and accident. And if it was an accident, like, I can't see, like, that Nicola wouldn't have been there, just right there when somebody would fall, because that's exactly what, you know, she didn't sit there and go on a freaking diving board and go plop, well, let me just go out to the middle. Someone would have fallen right there. You would have grabbed on. If you were falling, if you were, okay, so the only way that they're trying to say it is that basically Nicola Bully went down and she ended up in the water. Like, and it would have been had to go from, like, you know, like face first. So they didn't say anything about her falling and tripping and rolling down and into the water, you know. And the way that they've said is basically as if that Nicola Bully had to be, you know, like, it's just not that they personally said it, but their story dictates that Nicola would have to be deeper in the water than just falling. But we all know, if you guys can picture yourself here right now in your head, you know, if something happened to you and you tripped over the dog, you know, probably you'd hit your face, you know, because you're going downhill, probably hit your face going down, leave some sort of marking, perhaps. And, you know, you would be just kind of right there. You would just fall right into the water. So that's why it's like there. Okay, there's just rocks there. If you stood up, that's why they kept saying if she stood up, it wouldn't be very deep. So to me, like I said, you're not launching yourself. Like, it's not like you're taking a running leap, but suicide, I shouldn't say that word, self-harm, YouTube doesn't like it. YouTube, are you giving me a yellow for saying that? But self-harm, like their family, like I said, clearly being a high deemed misbar, what happened on the 11th, and Paul even saying in the inquest, hindsight's 2020, you know, like, dude, why are you saying that she's suffering when you just are literally saying she was full of beans and all of this stuff? And then you tell someone she's suffering. Yeah, Nicola, she probably was suffering. People put on a false front. So it wasn't out of the question that Nicola could have self-harmed herself. But what people couldn't put together was, well, then why would she leave a dog abandoned? Why would you do that? You know? But again, we weren't in the shoes. But then they said there was no alcohol. So that ruled out her being drunk or anything like that. But I don't know about medication. Was there no medication found in her either? Like, I don't know. You know? So regardless, at this point, it was easier to believe accident than self-harm anymore, really. But the family propagated the whole self-harm thing, to be honest with you. It's still confusing. Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, the inquest was going to happen. They did a copy and paste answer of the probability. That's it. That's all it is. That doesn't mean that it answered the questions. It didn't. It might have to some people, but it really didn't. It was because they don't know what happened to Nicola Bully, just as we don't know what happened to Nicola Bully. 100%. No one here, no one in the Lancashire police could ever put 100% stamp of approval on what happened to Nicola Bully. They can't. They didn't have the evidence to back it up. They didn't have items or articles. They didn't have slip marks. They didn't have nothing to back it up. So it's just one of those things. Either people accept it and accept that that's what the answer is from the inquest. Doesn't mean you like it, and you move on from the Nicola Bully case, or you still question it. You still, are mad about it, upset about it, and stuff like that. Just however somebody really deems it, because the inquest is kind of like having a final verdict, kind of like when somebody goes to jail, right? All of a sudden they get found guilty, then the case whittles down, and then people move on to other things. And the inquest was kind of like, that marker that was like, oh, okay, well, where do we go from here? Because look at Chris Watts' case. That case people are still talking about. Guy's been in jail now. People still trying to figure out the answers to that puzzle over there. Yeah, I would have liked to have heard more about that welfare check. I would have liked to have heard about this banging. So what? Right. And I agree with that. Sorry, I'm just turning off my camera for a sec. Absolutely agree with that, Helen. Because at the end of the day, we can't prove otherwise. We might think it, or we can't prove it, just like they couldn't, because they don't know what happened. And that's what I was just talking about the water, like I know you're referring to. The Hampstead affair. Yeah, there's some people saying, oh, look at this case, look at that case, look at this case, or whatever. I'm really not sure, what the next, what's a big case out there. I know Lucy Letby is right now. That case is very, well, I just find her guilty. Guilty as well. Interesting case, though. It's amazing what people do in life. It's amazing how they think. It's amazing that somebody would literally have that much self-loathing in themselves to feel like they were doing these children justice to take their lives from them, and then do all these different things when really it's because they hate their own life and they hate the world around them. And that's a Lucy Letby right there. Okay. Hey, Drama Llama. Oh, no, it's okay. Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna get off this live. It's been 2.5 hours, and I could sit here all day and talk, really, but I do have some things that I do need to do. Yeah, you're gonna. You can go back to the video on this one, the Man in Black. Just go see to the part where, if you want, where Fife is, or in Angela, that you could go watch the video that has all the documents. It's the one I put out the other day. That's called what is it called? I don't know. It's nope, not that one. What is it called? Oh, here you go. Inquest Day 1 and Day 2 is what it's called. And the police, the body cam, a little bit of the river stuff. But if you go in there, you can read all about the black man thing and look at all the information. But yeah, and then in the video yesterday, though, there, if you Googled it yourself and you looked up, what was it, Barrowford, you'll see that there was a man in black from January 7th that tried to attack this lady that was near a canal. And then we hear about the man in black all of a sudden in the Nicola Bully case. Weird. Rowan Waters. Was that place of any consequence, new build, and with her being in the property business? Was there any connection? No. I think there's a lot of things with that Rowan water that were like false versus true on there. Both cameras weren't actually even facing the field. One camera was facing into the Rowan water complex area, and the other one was facing at the gate and whatever. This whole not working stuff and whatever. Um, it just got twisted, just like the witnesses, about two females when really it was a male and a female, which kind of what I always thought. Then someone switched out to two females, and anyways, didn't see a connection. Yeah, Ellie, you guys appreciate Ellie here too. A lot of people have invested, but you know, Ellie and me have conversations through email, and she's worked really hard on, the ancestry, which I pretty much, Ellie, like just let it go. I did what I had to do. We did what we needed to do. We found out about Ron and Susan, and that was, you know, it's a nightmare when you're trying to find information on people that aren't your own family. And you have to at least have some information. But the UK is very more stringent on their personal information, unlike the US little country beside us here. It's very, very easy to find information on someone from the US. Easy peasy. Anyways, yeah, like I said, watch the video. My whole thing was I was just trying to show in that last video that the water levels really weren't that different. Here's the rocks. Here's the little steppage that if she had just fallen into the water, anyone, that really wanted to get out of that water would dig their feet into that freaking stuff or use that staircase a little bit that was there. I mean, it might be harder than planned, you know what I mean? But it was just really to show that their story of her, like, basically being unconscious perhaps in 25 seconds or even sooner, 10 seconds, that she met her death. Sorry, not buying it. Not buying that. That story I'm not buying. I'd rather listen to my own version than their version, because their version to me doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, so I was just trying to show there that there are kind of like this little stepping thing there. Where would Nicola end up? I think anyone with a brain cell would know that you're not going to go like flying off of it. If you're tripping and falling like Nicola was, right? So unless someone pushed you and launched you into the water, sorry, Alexa sent me something, into the water and pushed you out there, and then that happened, okay, fine, fair enough. You know what? You got cold water shock, you got all this clothing on and stuff like that. I could see someone panicking, gasping for breath, something like that. I don't see someone falling off of the side of this thing and not being able to either get back up unless they knocked himself out unconscious. It just doesn't make sense. And I just think, again, it just boils down to they don't know what happened. They used what they felt was the best ideal scenario and said, there you go. This is what it is. This is how we're leaving it. End of story. Rest in peace, Nicola. And again, if that's what the family needs, because it really is the best case scenario for them to have it ruled as an accident, that way for people that need to put that, placement in their headspace to make them feel better, knowing that it was just an accident, absolutely, right? That's her family. However they want, if they feel like that the accident ruling was exactly what happened, still wouldn't use the word suffering though, would we, Paul? Considering she was full of beans. I love that expression, but when I say full of beans, that means I'm full of farts, not, I'm full of beans. Yeah, happy, 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 but I get it. But when I think of beans, I think of, beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot, the better you feel. So have some beans at every meal, because I do love beans. So when I heard that expression, like full of beans, I was like, does that mean happy? Is that what he's trying to refer to? That someone's going to use the expression full of beans for being happy or excited? That's how I see it. Anyways, as for Victor, send me an email to acromanjim@gmail.com with your video YouTube link on it. Yeah, like ants in your pants. Remember that game, ants in your pants? You flick the little ants and they landed in that little pair of pants. Yeah, I know, right? Sometimes these expressions, but sometimes I laugh, with my husband because he is from the UK. And it's hard ever to get upset at my husband because he says the most. I mean, there's no reason really to get upset at my husband because he's such a great husband, but he just says these funny little things. I remember, this is just a quick story, but when he's talking to the cats, I remember I thought it was the funniest thing, but it was like, really? Like, okay, like I talk to the cat, like whatever, but he'll literally sit there and he'll talk to them and he'll be like, oh, did she now? Mommy did that to you while I was away at work? Daddy's home now. Oh, you want me and not her? And he has these conversations, with Kat, And I'm like, and it just makes me laugh so much, But it always makes me laugh when he's like, oh, did she now? Tell me exactly what mommy did to you. She didn't feed you properly, But it's when you include the Brit accent to go with it, just makes me giggle. Anyways, you guys, again, if you have going back to this, if you have a mug idea for a picture, you create the design, send it over to me through the email. The last day will be the 4th of July. I guess that's July 4th for the Americans. July 4th. And again, if anyone wishes to purchase a mug, and we'll put the names on from the people that are actually interested in this, to do it. So we'll just kind of take it from there. If you are interested in having or making a design for Nicola Bully on a mug so that you can have a piece of, it's basically a keepsake, a meaningful thing, that it's something that you spent a lot of time in, that maybe you drink some coffee out of it in the day. It has the names on it of the people that wished to participate in purchasing of a mug or create their own design so that they can purchase their own mug with the different names of their design. It's just a memorial. And if one person says to me ever in this chat that you're doing it for money purposes, you are going to get the fastest boot out of this channel. Okay? Because you don't do that. You don't use people's dust to the benefit like that. All right? I mean, people's work and time deserve something regardless. But this isn't about that. This is just about I'm literally offering for somebody to create a design, to put a mug out there. People are interested, and when really I can just design my own mug for myself and not care about anybody else. But I'm trying to offer this if somebody does want to have some sort of memory that's kind of like more of an international thing where they want a piece of Nicola because they've invested so much time, love, and caring into it, and have a mug that has Nicola Bully just as a memory keepsake type of thing. Drama llama, get out of here. Boot. Yeah. Anyways, so I'll leave that to you guys to send me an email if you're interested. If not, like I said, I'll put out when it's time, I'll put out a video, and then who's ever actually interested can put their name properly into that video. And then who's ever not, who cares? If you're not, you're not. I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. This is just a nice offering. Okay? Anyways, I'll see you guys later. And Nicola Bully, Nikki, we'll call her Nikki. You're in our thoughts. You're in our prayers. Although I don't feel like things were truly answered in your case. Your case has been very memorable. People just want to seek truth and justice and not hear a bunch of bullshit. Is that amen? Okay. And we just want truth. That's what it becomes about. You have a beautiful lady here. You have a dog that lost his mommy. poor Willow. And I mean, this picture that Jeff did, you know, of Nicola Bully for me, because he was liking having fun playing with some thumbnails. And I keep using it because I love the fact that it has Nicola Bully's face right there. And look at Willow. It's like he's just leaning into, you know, Nicola. And it's like, Mommy, you know. And I truly wish that Willow could speak. I truly wish that, you know, Willow had the ability to tell us, you know, what truly happened to Nikki. I saw, yeah. Oh, did you? Do you remember, Isabel? There was that one lady there. She had a dog, and she was doing an interview, and she's like, "Well, I just believe that she went off with another man somewhere," right? It just reminded me of this butchy male or female that was talking, and it was almost like, yeah, she hightailed it off with the other guy. That's exactly what happened to her. I mean, hence the fact that she was found on the 19th. But you know, sometimes it's funny when you just listen to people and they're in an interview and like they don't make no qualms about just saying stuff like that. But you know, it's almost like someone chewing on tobacco. Yeah. By golly, I think she did. I think she just went off with another guy. Anyways, you gotta love those people that just do that, right? Anyways, you guys take care. We'll see you soon on another live, in another video or whichever. And but regardless, for Nicola Bully, you are in our hearts, and you are in our thoughts, and you are in our prayers, and perhaps one day we'll find out the actual truthful answers, perhaps not. Either way, Nicola Bully, you are loved very much by a lot of people. And again, I'm not saying, I still have a few more things to talk about with the Nicola Bully case. And like there's a few things in my head already, but if something else comes to light, you know, with that, but you're not going to be seeing all these videos keep popping out with Nicola Bully. Just for the sake of Nicola Bully. That would just be like leeching off of, you know, Nicola Bully after that. You know, you know what I mean? It's one thing when you got all these thoughts and stuff like that, but you don't just stop caring about a case. You don't stop thinking about a case. You don't just stop thinking that the Lancashire police are full of shit and that the case just ends and stops because people say, let's just bring it to rest. No. Is that what happened with Chris Watts? You know, it didn't happen. So we'll see. You know, I'm a YOLO person. I do things as I feel them. You know, I like to let my heart guide me with what I do. That's how I always roll that way. So anyways, with that being said, God bless. Please give this video a like and a share. And yeah, thank you guys for, of course, your support and subscribing and all that good stuff as well. But anyways, you guys take care, and we'll see you later. Okie dokie. And I just got to find my outro. And Adam thanks you too, even though he's not here. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.